Hello, happy Friday, TGIF. Welcome. We will begin in 1 to 2 minutes as we see that everyone is successfully getting logged on. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, everyone. How we doing? They're on mute, so I'm just going to assume you're doing well. Thanks for joining us.
You should be on mute also, Mr. Jeff, until Kara does the kickoff, please.
Okay.
See, Sony is very compliant.
Okay. Give it just another 30 seconds here as people are logging in. Okay, looks like we're getting there. Thank you everyone for joining us on this Friday. My name is Kara Cherry. I'm the general manager for Patterson Dental in Los Angeles. We're really happy to have you, TGIF. We're trying to provide content that's really relevant and timely and is going to help us with options in the future as we see, changes being made to the way in which we practice as a result of the COVID pandemic. So one of our excellent long-time partners and, really a company with great vision of what's to come in the future and what dental offices will need. We have our partners from RevenueWell, and they're here to talk to us today about teledentistry, which we think is going to have a lot of different uses, both immediately and in the future. And with that, I would like to introduce Mr. Alex Nudell, head honcho at RevenueWell, great visionary. Thank you for being here with us today and for bringing us up to speed on teledentistry, how it can be used a little bit, and what tools that you can provide to help with that. So with that, I'll pass it over to you. Thanks so much to you and your team for joining us today.
Thank you, Kara. I really love the opportunity, and we've been talking about this for a very long time now. And one of the coolest things that I get to do is bring my wonderful team from RevenueWell, Jeff White and Sony, and as well as one of our biggest advisors and one of the most famous people in dentistry, Deborah Nash. And we're going to do this without any fluff. We're really going to dive in and give you a lot of great information, and then we're going to do a Q&A session at the end. And as Jeff is going to show us the navigations, we're going to be asking questions of Deborah Nash as well, because she has been using teledentistry. She has been teaching about all of these different great verbiages and what to expect. And every time that I talk to her, I get inspired, because we're now thinking more and more about how do we set ourselves up for success when we open the doors. So Deborah, can you unmute yourself and just give us a small, quick howdy, and then we're going to start this with Jeff.
Hi, I'm Deborah Englehart Nash, yes, and not only am I a speaker consultant, I actually work with my husband, Dr. Ross Nash, in his practice, and we determined fairly early on when we had to close our office as of March 20th that virtual consults in teledentistry was going to be critical for us. Interestingly enough, I think it's going to be as critical after we open our doors as it is now, not only for new patients, but patients of record. I also think, and one of the things we can talk about I think this is also going to be a great opportunity for the curious potentially cosmetic patient, that they're going to feel somewhat a little bit safer, and maybe they're going to be intrigued, but not intrigued enough to make a consultation, new patient exam appointment, but would be intrigued enough to do a virtual consult from the comfort and safety of their home. So I think this is going to have a very positive effect on cosmetic and aesthetic interested patients.
Yeah, and building on that, I think there's a common theme to teledentistry, right? If we think about, there's an immediate need right now, but what does it look like afterwards, right? I mean, think about all these wonderful things that have appeared. We have CAD cams, lasers, all of these things, these trends, and this is not going anywhere, folks. This is here to stay, and it's going to be a great tool to triage, to follow up on, you know, post-op care, and to stay engaged with patients. So
I think too, and I know you're probably gonna say, Deborah, please mute your mic, and whoever's gonna have power is gonna do that. But here's what is important right now. Everybody is, and we've got 76 people watching this. Right now, we're all out of our comfort zone. Everybody, and let's face it, we're all out of our comfort zone. And we're wondering what's next. And I will tell you that when people are in their comfort zone, that is not where breakthrough happens. Breakthrough does not occur in our comfort zone. Breakthrough happens when we're on the edge of fear. That's where we are right now. And so the good news is we're not quite into fear mode, but we're on the edge of it. And that is when we're going to start seeing breakthroughs in our office. And I think teledentistry and how we use it, not only for new patients, but patients of record, is one of those breakthroughs that's going to be a positive outcome of this retreat that we've been on for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it always comes back to, you know, there's the actual definition of teledentistry, and it's you know, use of electronic information, imaging and communication technologies, you know, but I think what really matters is how do you want to define it for your practice? How do you want to use this tool and engage your patients, right? And I think that's why we're here. And then the other part is, okay, well, this all sounds great, but why should I use it? Why do I actually need to use it? Now, Deborah, you've been using teledentistry for a few weeks now, right, at your practice?
That is correct. We actually, and Jeff, I sent you, we actually totally stopped the presses on an ad that we continually run in a I'd say a female, a women's magazine. I want to be politically correct, but that is really what is toward, it's called Lake Norman Woman, yes. And we actually had a full page ad running. We stopped the presses once we got our website, which took about 2 hours to get a widget on our website for an invitation for patients who would be interested in a virtual consult. We had our ad designer come up with a new ad. And so we started running a full page ad about virtual consulting. And we've probably had a dozen requests for virtual consulting in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, wonderful.
But I think it's going to go beyond just now. And I also think that, and I'm going to piggyback because I want to make sure we get back to this. Patients are going to come back to the practice, and the practice is going to look totally different. Magazines I just talked about, magazines will be gone, and coffee bars, coffee stations will be gone. Socialization will be gone. So I also think teledentistry is going to be another way to pre-socialize with your patients of record and post-socialize with your patients of record, because it's probably not going to be happening in the practice, in the office.
All right, I'm going to take over control of this real quick. And what I'd really love to do is thank you, Deborah. I agree with most of the stuff that you're saying because, yeah, it's going to look different. But first of all, I would like to talk about the tool that is there and the whole thing, the why it's important and everything else like that. But I want to get to the meat of it, Jeff. I want to really start getting into diving in of what the tool has, what do we have available, and how can people use it immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's kind of go over there to my other screen, and we can actually start that. Kind of give you guys, while I'm pulling this up, kind of give you a real use case example here. I'm down here in Daytona Beach, Florida, and over the last few weeks, I've experienced some significant pain in my jaw, and I don't know if it's related to stress or, you know, associated to TMJ or TMD or any of those, but there's nobody to call right now. You know, my dental practice, they shut down. They didn't temporarily close, they are closed. And when I have been experiencing this, I get in the car yesterday, and Port Orange Dentistry had a radio station marketing ad on. And I was like, oh, wait, this is perfect. And I think this kind of ties into let's say they kind of gave me that ad, that they offer emergency appointments. If they had revenue well, they'd actually be able to initiate that conversation with us. And what that looks like is they would actually be able to log into their system if I had called them and actually start a virtual visit appointment with me. So Alex, what are your thoughts? Do you think virtual visits is something that from revenue well is easy to initiate?
Let's actually show them how to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just dive right into it, because I think that everybody's interested more in how the mechanics works of it and what can they do to get started. We have a lot of existing revenue well users here. We have some people that are just interested in teledentistry in general. So if you can share that screen, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I'm with a patient here, I would actually be able to engage that virtual visit with them by clicking on virtual visit within revenue well.
I'm seeing a screen that says the Y.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So let's get that right screen out there for everybody so they can also see it. There you go.
There we go. Sorry about that, everyone. So from here, you would actually be able to start that virtual visit with a patient. So let me go back and show you what that step looked like. If I'm texting a patient here, I would be able to click on the virtual visit icon within revenue well, and it will pull up a text message and actually send that patient a text message saying, start this virtual visit. And at that point, it would actually pull up revenue well in a way to actually start the consultation. Looks like I'm having just a small issue here. Give me 1 second.
All right, so basically inside revenue well, there's a lot of new tools. One of them is a virtual office to where you're actually able to look at your patient of record as well as new patients. Most of the systems that are out there only communicate with the patients of record, but this will be able to communicate to anybody that wants to do a virtual visit. And virtual visits, you can absolutely charge for. It depends on what state you are in. There are dental codes that are being paid by insurance for a virtual visit, and there are many different ways to retain your patients through virtual visits, because in our office, we have a lot of patients just want to know if we're still there. What are we doing? Do we have anything new and updated? And every time we explain to them that we've been dealing with every type of infectious disease control for years and years and years and years, more than I could remember. But yes, we've updated this and we've updated that. And so what Deborah Nash was saying earlier on is that it is always nice to be able to have a conversation with your patient prior to bringing them into the office. That's another reason to be able to use a virtual reality tool like this, to be able to get to the patient that is considering and coming in, and to be able to just see, are they sick? Are they coughing? Are they sneezing? Are they acting weird? And do you want to bring them in, as well as telling them some of the things that you expect from them when you do bring them in for a virtual visit. And so Jeff is having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm going to go back to Deborah Nash and ask her a couple of questions.
Okay, and I'm gonna, and I unmuted myself, and because I wanted to bring up in terms of when you are, if you've never done a virtual visit before, one of the things that we did for the virtual visit is we asked each one of our team members, we don't have a huge group, but we asked our 6 of our team members if they would go in and request a virtual visit so that we could practice. So we weren't doing it, I mean, the first one we did it right out of the chute. This was actually before we had Revenue Well do it for us. And it didn't, we did it through FaceTime. It wasn't HIPAA compliant. It still went well, but we asked then each one of our team members to go in and request a virtual visit so we could practice before we actually initiated our first live virtual visit with a patient. I will also say that it's been great in terms of how we do this, because then we also follow up. Dr. Nash has through Revenue Well, has a video, a post new patient exam video that he follows up with. It was great to meet you virtually today. We're looking forward to seeing you. We've already had, one of the patients actually texted back and said, can I do my veneers in June? So, it's good to have a trial run with your team, so you get comfortable doing a virtual visit before you go live, so to speak.
It looks like Jeff's got everything back on over here, and we're going to be able to experience that. There he is showing himself, and I'm not sure who are you going to call.
So actually ping Sony. Sony, have you mute your phone when you get there.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. So we'll kind of go back, but this window is a way for us to send and initiate that virtual visit. So what I did initially was I sent a message through the messenger portal. And then from there, Sony received a text message, and all she had to do was click on that link, and her phone automatically pulled up the virtual visit box. And that is how we got to where we are right now. Now, kind of giving my original example, if I had called the office directly and the practice wanted to start an emergency appointment with me, they would actually be doing a slightly different process. So let me show you that.
Yeah, we're gonna bribe you.
No, we can't do that. It's part of the deal. Marcus is on his way over.
There we go. And so from here, I'm actually gonna hit Start Virtual Visit. This is the icon that I went to for those of you that didn't see that click there. And I'm gonna hit Start Virtual Visit. Now, if that patient's over the phone, it's gonna pull up that waiting room or that meeting ID for me. And I will actually navigate the patient to the waiting room by giving them the URL below. So it would be join.patientconnect365.com. And once that patient went there, I would give them that meeting room ID. And that actually allows them to join the screen just like we did before.
So Jeff, we were talking about having a patient record or just a new patient that just called up, trying to get that information and everything else. How long does it take to start this type of a chat?
I would say less than 10 seconds. I mean, all it does is it pulls up a window right away. The patient will go to that link, and probably 2 or 3 seconds from there, they'll be joining my screen. Actually, pretty.
All right.
Pretty simple.
What's the cost for teledentistry if you have Revenue Well?
If you have Revenue Well right now, it's actually included in your core platform for as long as this outbreak is happening.
What should a practice that has never used teledentistry be doing right now? How do they make a decision to move forward with this? How is this going to help them retain their patients? How is it going to help them build a schedule?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to do is check with your state guidelines. Make sure that what the state allows for, what you can bill for. And from there, I would then start evaluating, which type of, who in the office will be doing virtual visits, making sure they have an allocated space to have a virtual visit. So in the office, maybe it's your consult room. If it's in your house and you're working remote, maybe it's a nice secluded little area in the house. From there, it's then you want to start informing your patients and sending out a mass email and text message, letting them know that this new service exists. What's really cool about Revenue Well is that we have pre-built campaigns for you guys already included in the system. And I can actually show that to you if you haven't seen them before. Now, the other side of it is you want to update your website. Again, you want to bring awareness to that to your new offering. Whether it's if you're doing radio ads or you're doing email and text messaging. If you have our microsite, you want to update that, create an alert for it. You'll be able to let everybody know that you have that service available to you.
And I think that that's something that is always important, is to build that awareness. Let people know you have the service. Let them know why they would use this service. Let them know what is it that you're doing at this moment with this service. I know that most of the people that are using teledentistry are using it right now for emergency consults and doing limited evals, figuring out what is the best course of action for that particular patient in this particular time. Are you seeing emergency patients? If you're seeing emergency patients, I recommend doing a teledentistry visit, whether you're going to charge or not, but I recommend that you see them way before, set up their expectations.
Absolutely. And you bring up a valid point. You know, what, especially in the COVID-19 outbreak, define yourself. What is an emergency appointment for yourself, right? You know, a filling's not an emergency, right? But a cracked jaw might be. So you want to, that's why it's so important to stay in front of our patients, because you should be first of mind when that comes out. And here's a campaign I was able to pull up for us that you can run that's within your revenue well right now. So all you have to do is go to your campaign tab. Actually, take a step back and show you how to do this. Do create campaign. And you'll notice that the COVID-19 resources are right at the top for you. So right now we're going to show you the teledentistry one, but when we get the green light for everything, you also have your office opening and then some engagement resources in between. So I'm going to click on office, teledentistry now available. There's one thing I would like to do in here, and I would I'd probably add or request an appointment widget, or let them know how they can get a hold of you. So I might say call or text us at number below, you know, and then I'll go to my text.
Can you go back a second there, Jeff? Let's add a YouTube video just to show how simple it is of the
Yeah, absolutely.
what is it and how we're going to use it.
Absolutely. So I might hover over the text here and hit insert section above. Click on YouTube video. And I would just copy and paste that link right in there.
All right, we have somebody who's not on mute, TV playing.
Ooh.
Can you mute everybody? Is it possible, Cara?
I'm muted.
Yes, I just can't see who's not muted.
It looks like everybody's muted.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a TV playing in the background? I know that we don't.
I'm certainly quiet over here.
I'm quiet over here. It's just snow.
All right.
I'm quiet over here, but I do hear the TV. Not anymore. TV's gone.
All right.
Well, I hope there's a resolution for that. Hopefully it's a...
All right, so let's continue.
Yes, so in here, I have I inserted that YouTube video by selecting that section above, and I would just copy and paste that video. So what I've seen in offices doing is putting in how to actually do it and how to initiate the appointment too. Now from there, you can also include that video in your text messaging as well. Alex, I'm sorry, did you want to add something to this?
No. What I want to do is let everybody know that we have extended our text capabilities for the time being, at least, to where we're, instead of 150 characters, we are giving you almost 1,000 more. And that will allow you to put a URL in there as well if you're doing a video of any sort. Yeah. Or if you want to lead them to a website or anything else. Deborah Nash has a beautiful place on a website where she can get an organic hit, and also will lead her patients to request an appointment for teledentistry.
Absolutely. Now from there, you can go right into your filters. I would say all of your patients, let them know that this new tool exists, and hit update results. You know, Alex, I'm sure we can talk about it a little bit. By being in front of our patients, we've also seen some reactivation of patients that maybe haven't been in the practice for 18 months or greater, and all of a sudden something does happen and they've received this. We've seen some pretty awesome success stories. Have you heard of anything on your end, Alex? As well as a new patient growth too.
So it's like waking up a bear. People right now are wondering, and it's like anything in life. When you can't get it, you want it more.
Absolutely.
I don't know why. I don't know why. But we are finishing up with a campaign to let all the patients of record know that there is teledentistry available for them. If they have an emergency, if they have a question, if they have any concerns, to go ahead and get in touch with the office to set up an appointment. It is very important to let people know up front, what is it that it's going to, is there going to be a bill for it? Is there going to be any particular questions that you need to know? So anything that you do, please let them know way up front, like you're signing a treatment plan for any type of a service, which I think is very important. Do bill for your time if they're calling you and saying they want to come in or they want some kind of medication or anything else like that. Our typical fee is $95. We also bill the insurance. I believe it's $45. So our average walkout in about a half an hour is approximately $135, $140, which is similar to our hygiene appointment. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point too. I mean, again, check with your, because we have some out of town listeners here as well. Again, check with your local association and make sure what you're able to bill for. And we have the codes to use. We can provide those to everybody after the call as well.
All right. So now that you've really made it aware that everybody's doing teledentistry, everybody's doing telemedicine. I saw my doctor this week just like this. So everybody's already, they know it exists. They are willing to get involved with this. They have all the technology that is necessary, and teledentistry is here more than ever. One of the things we spoke to Deborah Nash about is people, even cosmetic, people are trying to get consults. 22 million people out of a job at this particular second. Hopefully that will change in the very near future. Everything gets fired up, but these people are going to need a new smile because they want to be the one chosen. And unfortunately and fortunately for us, it's all about visual stuff. So doing virtual consults is something that everybody should get on board with right away. If you have been doing it, just keep on tweaking it, get feedback, get better at it, just like anything else. It will take you a couple of good visits and decide, are my hygienists going to be doing teledentistry? Is my staff going to be doing teledentistry? Who's allowed to charge for what? And what is it, how our script is going to look? Are we going to ask certain questions, which yes, we should be asking questions, and how do we get them back into the office? How do we reactivate them? How do we get on schedule? Deborah, you can jump in at any moment.
You notice my little, when I unmute myself and start my video, it's like, I have something to say, I have something to say.
Yes.
I think the other advantage of teledentistry, which no one has addressed, is that gives you also an opportunity to extend your office hours. So you can actually send out a notice to your patients and saying that we will be offering teledentistry, and you might say Thursday evenings until 8 p.m. or we're going to be offering teledentistry virtual consults from 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock on Saturday. I mean, you could actually really open up the number of hours that your practice would be available without you having to open up your practice, if you know what I mean. So that's another amazing advantage. I was also going to mention that regarding emergency, we had a call yesterday from one of our patients whose granddaughter, I don't know where they were jet skiing because I thought all the beaches were closed, but she got knocked off a jet ski and broke her front tooth. And we were able to do the whole triage via teleconferencing with, they were where they were, we were where we were able to look at it. And they actually had the virtual visit with their doctor. They had the virtual visit with us. All was well. And sometimes that's, a lot of it is reassurance. So I will also say that for us, for emergency teledentistry, that is one fee. For us, if a patient is calling us for a virtual cosmetic consult, we are offering that complimentary for this period of time. I don't think we'll offer it free forever or complimentary forever. But for now, as we're getting started and as we're inspiring people to dream, that we are offering it at no charge at this time. But we will assess a fee for an emergency triage. So those are two different things for us. But I want to remind you that this gives you an opportunity to also extend your office hours.
That's actually a very good point. But a lot of doctors don't want to give out their personal telephone number, cell phone number. Most of the staff members do not. Jeff, can you take us to a place to where you can use RevenueWell to dial so you don't have to use your own personal phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, while he's looking for that place, I will tell you that you're not HIPAA compliant if you're using your personal phone, unless you have you want to use RevenueWell or you want to use another resource, because your team members should not be calling patients with their personal cell phones. That is not a HIPAA compliant device. So if you're doing that now, you should stop and use this portal. And we haven't used our personal cell phones for years. The only person who is HIPAA compliant using their cell phone is the doctor, because it's an implied consent when the doctor's calling. But your team should never, and I mean ever, never, never, ever, never, they're going to mute me in a minute, call a patient from their personal cell phone number.
Thank you for that. That's important information. Jeff, go ahead and explain this screen.
Of course. So how I got to this screen for our users on the call, there's a phone icon off to the far left there that allows you to dial out to any number that may not be in the system already. So if I wanted to call myself, I would just type in that phone number and hit send.
And Jeff, can this be used if I log in from my tablet, my phone, or does it have to be from a workstation?
No, yeah, it's a really great question. So this can be at home as long as you have a microphone on your computer or a tablet. So I've actually tried this out on an iPad and an Android, and it worked beautifully. I had no issues with it at all.
That is fantastic, because number one, for those of our customers that actually have set up a system to where anything that happens out of RevenueWell looks like it's coming from your office telephone number. So it looks like you're in the office, and that's a great system. Talk to me about voicemails for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say, for an example, you're not logged into RevenueWell and that incoming call is missed. The patient's actually able to leave you a voicemail through your web phone. And you would actually be able to see that whole list right there in front of you. You'd be able to play, you can see the date, how long it is, and the caller as well. And you're also able to change your voicemail settings. You actually leave a custom greeting.
That is absolutely super, and that's all within the system. It's all HIPAA compliant with all the guidelines that you can possibly imagine. I would like to bring either Jody or Kara on to see what else they would like for us to cover. While we're waiting for that, Jeff, can you show the new schedule screen? Look.
Of course, sorry about that. So we've also added the calendar by operator view and provider view. Because I don't have any patients of record here on my schedule, you're not going to see anything, but I do have some slides I can go bounce through. But you would actually be able to see who's on the schedule, their confirmation status, any specific or meaningful alerts associated to that account. And you, again, you'd be able to kind of go through the phone over that course of time.
It's a great feature, because a lot of times you don't have access into your practice management software. And now through RevenueWell, you can clearly see exactly what's going on with each individual provider that you have. I see Kara is on here.
Hi. I thought you guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Might be a good time to address some of the questions from the Q&A. I think that will probably help us best cover what everyone is the most interested in. One question is the teledentistry portion, does the teledentistry portion have an additional service fee? If so, how much?
At this particular time, we're just looking, I mean, Kara, you called me up, you said, we are Patterson, give my customers everything to survive this. And so one morning, everybody woke up and got this. And at this time, we're not charging anything for it. If you're a RevenueWell customer, it's included. You can also go on to RevenueWell.com, look at teledentistry, and sign up for that right there. I believe it's a small fee of $149 or something like that.
Thank you so much for that. Do you guys know anything about the UCR fee charges?
We do. There are UCR fees that you can charge. It all depends on the insurance company. They're actually giving you new codes that they will cover. I believe when it first started, they were saying they were going to do it for the next 90 days. I believe that Delta, MetLife, and all those people have their own things. So since we're not coders or billers, we're recommending that you call your insurance company, get in touch with your dental association to find out what is eligible. I know that California is very strict, and thank God for that. You know, they're watching out for their good patients. So, you know, we always appreciate, but I know that everything is 10 times more paperwork and checks and balances. I know that Dr. Tirani might be on and he knows everything, but here's the coding for teledentistry D9995. But just check with your insurance company, and people are willing to pay. People will at no time blink their eye and not have to come into the practice and not have to get into the car to get a consult virtually. And if they're not, let's check what their insurance is going to cover. And if that's not, then you decide as an office what you want to do with that particular patient and move on with your life. Me personally, I will do anything just to be able to communicate with them and make sure that everybody is understanding that we're not closed, we're temporarily closed. We are dealing with emergencies, we are doing all these things, and that we have people that are willing to talk to them, that are willing to share their screen with or without makeup and take them through whatever it takes to get them to the office and make sure that we're safe with them and that our staff is safe with them or not.
Got it. Thank you. Is there a link for patients to sign up for Patient Connect?
There is a link to request things. There is a direct text. Jeff, can you bring me to Messenger? There is a way for them to message, and absolutely they can, at that point, once they start communicating with somebody, that person will be able to guide them to where they can go to get this done.
Awesome. Thank you. Can patients pay directly on the platform prior to the teledentistry appointment?
Absolutely. Revenue Well has WePay. So in your patient portal, we have an absolute way for them to be able to go and give their credit card information, and the office will process it. We will actually process it through WePay for them and get a receipt out, and absolutely. There's no question about that.
And by the way, I would call that, I would say something about, in order to reserve your time, in that we have you take care of your charges, so we have you take care of your charges so that we reserve your time. So we reserve this appointment for you, and we can do that remotely with you. And I think that patients really appreciate that they can pay you remotely as well. So again, the fewer people I have to touch right now, the happier I am. So I would, but the way I would say it is, in order to reserve your consult, your virtual consult time, we have you take care of the charges prior to the appointment.
Since I've been home a little bit, Cara, I've been doing some projects, and I'm kind of used to getting an estimate, then going onto their site that they give me a link through my phone and giving them a 50% deposit, and when they deliver, pay the rest, or paying for something to make sure that it gets done. Have you been used to that, Cara?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
especially
I know that
with my nanny, she's not coming to work without a deposit.
That's right. I would pay to babysit that son of yours. He's so cute.
Thank you. He has to.
I need to exercise.
You would get it.
So go ahead, let's continue with the question.
A timely question, and we were sort of just looking at this, I believe. Is it possible to schedule a time via the Revenue Well portal for patients to do the teledentistry appointment?
So at this particular moment, if you saw, we're getting right to where it is. So I showed you a schedule with providers and everything else like that. We do have an appointment request, and within a very, very short time, we're releasing the ability to schedule on your own, the open table for dentistry. If you're going to want to open up certain chairs, if you're going to want to do whatever it is that you want with your practice, you're going to be able to say, go ahead and book over here for new patients, or book over here for emergencies, book over here for hygiene, however you're going to want to do it. It's maybe in the works right now to where I'm playing with it, and we're going to give it out. So literally in the last 45 days, we've released 6 major releases to help with this, and schedule is going to be one of them.
Awesome, thank you. Does Revenue Well have an app for iPhone doctors to use?
Yes. So Revenue Well has a iOS app, and we have an Android app as well. And through your iOS app, you're actually able to text. This is something that is new as well. And so absolutely, yes. But I also want you to know that we invested heavily on our system being fully mobile. So you don't even have to have an app in order to do it. But in our Revenue Well app, we have a lot of great information on your patient, insurance, previous visits. They could text a review out of there. There's a lot of cool stuff. It's available right now. You can go on to the App Store and get it.
Awesome, thank you for that. Well, and thank you all for your questions. I think they were really excellent questions, and most people have those questions on their mind. So don't be shy to join in with any additional questions that pop up. Jody, I know.
Here's my Revenue Well app.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Jody, you've been especially
Very
passionate
nice.
about teledentistry, so I thought you might have a few questions or comments to add.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you, Cara. So, yeah, I think there's some pretty incredible potential in teledentistry to really stay connected to patients and show them that you care. And I think that, so I think, like I said, I think it's a great tool right now, you know, to be able to make yourself available to people and stay connected. So if an office, you know, was trying to create a vision for how to implement this, and you wanted to break it down into like the easiest step-by-step, what would that look like for them? Because they need to, so I don't know, you want to tackle that? And I'm thinking one of the things that's in my mind as I ask this question is like, what kind of online forms would you want to have ready? What would an ideal process look like?
Jeff, go ahead. You can give it a start, and I'll chime in as we go.
Yeah, again, so I think a lot of it goes to defining how you want to use teledentistry. Again, making sure you have a dedicated space, you have the right equipment for it. But I think there's certain protocols. So you want to determine what those protocols are. You know, what service do you want to provide remotely? Is it done in-house? What team members have a hand in these things? And I think that's part of the procedure, and then kind of configuring the schedule to what those needs are. So do you want to do it all the time? Do you want to do it, you know, at certain hours, certain days? Do you want to fill the gaps with a tool like this? So these are just a few things to think about. Alex, I'll let you kind of chime into any of this as well too.
And of course, again, we showed you there are campaigns. First of all, you have to let everybody know that you have this and it's available to them. And so right now in Florida, the big buzz is that May 9th, we're going to be able to open our practice up. And what I'm doing right now is I am polling my patients on who's actually ready to raise their hand and schedule. I'm going through emergencies. I'm going through people that have been treatment planned and endo. I'm going through people that started an endo but did not restore. You know, we have a lab on premises. It's called a CEREC. So whenever we do anything, we're always open, and we have an ability to mill and inlay, onlay, I mean, this is not a CEREC show, but this is what we have and it's available. It saved our practice, literally, because we were able to do these type of restorations. So I let everybody know what's going on. I'm going in for perio patients. I'm going in for patients that maybe were on our schedule, but also patients that are now reaching out because they can't. They thought that they could do things whenever they feel like, just like me, right? Why do I need an extra piece of bread? Well, I might not be able to get one tomorrow. So now I have to worry about it. And for some strange reason, I have a sensitivity. Jeff had a sensitivity. He's probably clenching his teeth while working out, not wearing a night guard. Wait until I get a hold of you, buddy. But the fact is, start communicating to your patients, start seeing what that schedule is going to be. Make sure you have enough resources. Make sure you have everything that you need in order to see those patients. Make sure you have the staff that you need to see these patients. You might be ready, they're not. They might be ready, you're not. So I want everybody to prepare themselves for this and make sure that we have what we need. So I want to communicate to those groups of patients. So in Revenue Well, we're able to say, I want to talk to anybody that has been treatment planned for this for a period of time. Or I want to talk to people that have maybe dentures, but now implants. I want to talk to, so I start communicating in these little groups, and I'm setting myself up for success to be able to see them. I can't see a 45-minute appointment for hygiene or an hour appointment for hygiene anymore. We need more time. I can't see spending the hour that we usually do with the patient. So we need to be understanding. Deborah Nash, who runs a really tight ship, and she's 1,000,000% correct. Get ready to work extended hours, but it doesn't have to be in the practice. You can use teledentistry. You can go back in there. And Deborah, tell us what you did in order to prep your team, because I'm watching videos that are coming out over there. And not just yourself. I'm seeing front desk, hygiene do it.
Mm-hmm.
And how are we coming back over here?
Okay, I want to update you about some other codes, by the way, because I was texting my dear friend Roy about virtual
The
consults.
felon.
The felon, Roy Shelburne, who has really been working hard on teledentistry. He said teledentistry depends on the time taken, the fee depends on the time taken. And he said the other codes you can use are D0190 and D0191, which is the screening assessment code for an assessment. And he said certain states will not allow teledentistry exam, but they will allow an assessment. And there's really, I've heard anywhere from $49 to $79 for an assessment fee. So, but the other piece, and I think I texted Jeff, and I don't know, Jeff, if you have access to our ad that we created, that we're running. But I think we got our team involved in teledentistry. The minute we thought about it, we called Alex and we said, we want to do this. And I think Ross has called Jeff. I think now they're like dating, I think. Ross has called Jeff several times about, okay, tell me how I'm doing these virtual consults. I've got, 12 of them scheduled. And once again, I think that our team got excited about doing it. For me, I think it's going to need to be Rhonda, our treatment coordinator, doing the virtual consult, or it has to be Ross. So there is, that's the example of the ad that we placed in the magazine for our area. And from that, we had, they go right into the Revenue Well request portal, and we schedule it. Right now, we're scheduling it from home. We're doing it virtually. We are totally closed down except for emergencies. We are hoping to be back by May 5th, so close date. But we will actually dedicate, we're going to schedule, we will dedicate time throughout the day for Rhonda to do the initial assessment. So, and myself. So our front desk team will be responsible for the initial tele-assessment, and then we'll determine how much time we need to allocate to Dr. Nash. Is it going to be, is it for emergent procedures, or is it a virtual cosmetic consult? And he does virtual cosmetic consults really well. The other piece that we haven't talked about is, and I want to ask this question, because right now Ross does a lot of virtual consults with his specialists. So if he has a patient in the chair and he's going to refer the patient to ortho, or he's going to refer the patient for an implant, and he's going to want to talk to the oral surgeon, he likes to do it while the patient's in the chair. So Alex, my understanding is he could actually also do that from this site, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just take the iPhone and stick it right in the patient's mouth.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he does that all the time. He folds it up. He says, "Here, smile." And this is, he'll say, "This is Dr. Hagney. This is Dr. Paquette."
Yeah.
And the patient loves the fact that he can connect virtually through teleconferencing with the specialist. And they say, "I just can't believe that you just introduced me to the specialist." So I
Yeah.
think that's also important. I also think this is going to be a great tool for preoperative conversations with patients. So can you imagine you're getting ready for a big operative procedure in the dental office and you have this kind of conversation and say, and we're meeting, or the night before a new patient examination. I think this is also going to cut down on new patient no-show cancellations,
Yes.
because I'm going to connect with the patient through this process to say, "I'm looking forward to meeting you tomorrow in person." But let's talk a little bit about what you're looking for. Let me talk about how we can work together, you know, and so we can start a preliminary conversation, and what to bring, all of those things can be done. And the reality, and Alex is the expert on this, and Jeff as well. My understanding is, and help me if this is not an incorrect, if this is an incorrect statistic, that when you involve this live or video, you increase the patient engagement by 95% by involving them in this process. Is that correct?
Yeah. So your no-show rate declines drastically, as well as you're able to send out a package with the new paperwork that it needs to fill out. Everybody has to get new patient registration, new medical history, new COVID stuff that is answering all kinds of different questionnaires. And I think that today we have reshuffled the way that we send out paperwork. Less is more, but asking the right questions will give your patient a lot of what's a good word? They will give them a lot of confidence in coming into your practice. Because if you're not asking these questions, I start to wonder, like, do they know what they're doing? Are they going to protect me? Are they protecting their people? So by you pre-screening them, like Deborah says, like Jeff says, like Jody wants to, I want to be mindful of the time that we have as well. And
I want to make sure, excuse me, Alex, there's not many people who can interrupt you, but I can. There is, if no one has done this yet who are watching this, the ADA has just released their interim guidelines for dental offices. It's 8 pages of interim guidelines. And I think that would be important. So one of the ways that I would also use this, I've just downloaded it and submitted it to all of our team members. And we will use this process as well to let our patients know what to expect in terms of what they're going to be walking into a different office on May 5th. It's going to be different. And so this would also be a nice way of helping the patients prepare for what to expect. I'm going to mute myself now. I'll be quiet.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jody.
I do have more questions.
Absolutely. I'm ready. We're ready.
So, and actually, Deborah, one for you too. Is there any special equipment you use when you're doing your teledentistry consults? Are you just on an iPhone or on your laptop? Is there anything special that you use?
We've done both. I will tell you that a couple of things that we've ordered that are back ordered because everybody's doing Zoom meetings today. There are 343,000 Zoom meetings a day right now, a day.
I think there's more.
Yeah, probably. And
Easter Passover was millions.
I've been to 100,000 of them, I think, per day. So, so I would encourage, and I've done this. So I would encourage ordering, and you can do all these through Amazon, an external microphone for your phone, and you see that I'm in terrible lighting. I'm much younger than I look because my lighting's bad. But I've ordered the ring light to go to my our laptop so that I have lighting. They're very inexpensive right now. They're just hard to access because everybody wants one. So I would order a little bit of extra equipment if I'm going to be doing more virtual and teledentistry, so that I have good sound and I have good lighting. That's going to be important. And I would always ask the patient, go into a well-lit room
Mhm.
so that you get a good picture from them as well. So those two things are going to cost you less than $100. So I would encourage you but we've ordered them. We have them in the office, but I would order them for your laptop and you can actually also on your phone, you can get the Ring light
Yeah.
on your phone if you're going to use your phone.
That's a thing.
And an external
Oh, yeah.
microphone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why people listen to it on their
very
phones because they
interesting.
have this special attachment with this special lighting. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was a great tip. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Jody,
hey, I have
you
more
have
questions. I have another
great
question.
background as well. You know, just make sure that
I have
whatever you
child
in the
art in the background and
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. So, okay. So my other question is, okay. So for an existing patient, what type of, and actually both scenarios, new patient or existing patient, what type, and if you're going to engage in teledentistry consult, what type of paperwork do you need to get to them? What are required forms?
For me personally,
From the office.
I want, so from our office, and everybody can do whatever it is that you want. I want to know who I'm speaking with. I want to know their medical history.
Okay.
I want to know if they have any allergies. I want to know what they're trying to accomplish during this visit. It's very important to me. And I want to make sure that if it's a new patient, that before we put them on with the doctor, that we do, like Deborah says, pre-screening, and that we have everything that we need ready. So I immediately send out the forms to be filled out. If they want insurance, I need to know everything in advance. Just like I said in the beginning, I want to be very, very clear on the fees and everything else. What else do you do, Deborah?
I would agree that for existing patients, there's going to be, and you'll see on the ADA guidelines, there will be new forms that they're going to have to complete. In terms of new patients that I'm going to take them through Revenue Well to complete their new patient, their new patient record. I need to have a new patient record as well, especially we don't bill insurance. We're a insurance-free practice, which I know is bizarre, but we'll bill for them. We just simply don't accept it. So I'm still going to need their insurance information.
Okay.
And one of the things that I would encourage, if you're going to bill insurance, and again, I know this is going to be cavalier, but I've had like coffee today and a little bit of cocaine, so there. So. People say, "Oh my gosh, no!" Jeff White just unmuted himself. No, even though the patient does have insurance or doesn't have insurance, I know that's always a big question. But I would say to the patient, we're going to do our very best to serve you, and understand that insurance coverage is important to you. However, we don't want to compromise what we can offer. So we will have you take care of the charges at the time of treatment. We will bill your insurance company. This is so new, and this is such and here it is. There's not enough evidence in right now. Some insurances are accepting it, some aren't. We will do our very best to help you receive whatever allowance your insurance company will provide, but we would certainly not want to offer this service to you if your insurance has a restriction.
Do they need any type of a consent to participate in a teledentistry exam?
When they're logging in, that's their consent.
That is correct. Once they log in, that is an implied consent, and that's even from Debbie Carr, who is a HIPAA Nazi. Okay. No offense, Alex, but so that is implied consent. But that goes back to why you shouldn't have the patients contact team members via cell phones. If they call the doctor, if they contact the office, it is an implied consent that they want you to reach out to them. So you can do that.
Okay.
They have also lifted and lightened some of the HIPAA stuff for teledentistry because it's unknown and it's not possible to get things done fast when it comes to changing anything in any dental society, or it's just, so they lifted. So I follow Roy Shelbourne, and he's like my wife. He knows everything. So I want to make sure that, but they have lifted. But again, my recommendation for everybody, is to make sure for themselves to either get in touch with their local dental association or however it is. I'm sure ADAM has good information on compliance as well. Jody, you and I are very big fans of them, and so is everybody else on this call. So definitely do your research. Don't trust just Jeff, because he will tell you to get into a pickup truck and drive fast in the snow.
Oh, look.
Oh, look who's here.
Bend on down there, big guy. Yeah.
He can't. He's not as young as he used to be. So gorgeous. Hi, Dr. Nash.
They can hear you.
I can't hear them.
Oh, well, here.
Jeff, what do you have here?
So I'm gonna send this out to Jody. Hopefully you've collected the email addresses for everybody that attended. We have some resources to send out, billing and guidance. We have CDC protocols, which states allow it. And then we also have a checklist that I found, which walks everybody through kind of the processes on how to actually get started. So I'll get that out to everybody.
Thank you very much. We can also get some samples of videos that Deborah has done, that Dr. Tarani has done. He's been amazing. I have to say, I don't know if he's still on here, but I'm extremely proud because after you and I have visited his office, he kept his promise and he belted out some fantastic videos, and I want to make sure that we can share them.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll get those out to everybody.
Yes, thank you. We will send a recording of this call as well as any materials that you provide me to everyone who registered for this.
Thank you, Cara.
All right.
I'm hanging out as long as you guys need. If you have more questions, I'm willing to do it. If not, if questions come back in later, Jeff and I would be happy to get in touch either with Deborah Nash. We can ask Dr. Nash some questions as well, and we do have great friends and resources for you. And I really appreciate you doing this as Patterson Dental for all of your customers, keeping them on top of this. I am one of them, believe it, for a long time. I'm not even going to say not, because you can't not believe it. I carried the flag, but we really, all of us appreciate you guys stepping up and doing these series of webinars to help.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate
that
Revenue Well has comprehensively packaged everything that the dental practice needs, so I don't have to subscribe to this service here and to that service over there, and that you have incorporated all of it. And it makes it so easy for dental practices and for dentists. And my team love the ease of using Revenue Well. Thank you so much, really.
Thank you for that.
We're here, right?
Thank you all. Have a great day. Stay safe. TGIF. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Sony. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.